Let's just cut the crap here and let's just be real. Professional sports franchises have to start laying down law. They have to start actually making decisions that benefit their franchises. It doesn't matter what a player feels, doesn't matter what a player thinks. None of that matters. What matters is what makes a team, a franchise better. Now, if a franchise thinks that trading somebody is better for their franchise, then by all means, go ahead, do it. I'm not going to argue with you. Outside of the Miami Heat trading Jimmy Butler, I'm not going to argue with you. I know for a fact that the Miami Heat are not better without Jimmy Butler. I know that if they had simply kept him, he would have played harder and they would have won more games. And I know that if you had given him the ball like you're supposed to your best player, he would have done a lot more. Rather than throwing him into the corner to do shit that's not what he does. But generally speaking, franchises should be making decisions that benefit their franchises and make them better. So, what are we talking about? We are talking about demanding a trade. Who the flying do you think you are? You are nobody. You are an employee. Accept it or retire. Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Rudy's Rant, powered by Coming Out of Podcast, where we talk facts over feelings. I'm your host, Rudy Rodriguez Showmont, aka Rudy the Hammer, and I bring the hammer time to you again. For those of you who are back again, I appreciate y'all, love y'all. Like the video, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts. For those of you who are new, like the video, leave a comment, subscribe, and hit the bell. And please do support all the other content that I bring out: Combat Corner, NBA, Major League Baseball, all of it. I want to grow this to a sports conglomerate, not just a WNBA women's basketball conversation. That's my ultimate goal. So you see, I'm putting out more content in other areas. Support them, like them, comment on them. And I'll teach you something about these sports that you might not otherwise watch. I was messaged by somebody to start watching NASCAR. Don't know if I'm going there. I've watched NASCAR. I don't find it interesting. I'm just being real. I don't. Some people love the other racing car thing. I don't find interest in that either. Sorry. That's just hard. I can only watch so many things. I can only watch so many sports. I got plenty of TVs, but only so many sports can play, and I can only produce so much content. So let's talk about what we're talking about here. Marina Mabrey demanded a trade from the Connecticut Sun. Yes, that's right. Marina Mabrey demanded a trade, and you know this by now because it's been around. And I talked about it, last night in my entitlement conversation um, about the leagues, about professional sports. But I always said I was going to do a deeper one on this because Marina Mabrey demanded a trade last year when she was in Chicago. She also, as far as I know, this is her third time doing so. She has a history of wanting out. She has a history of wanting out. She forced her way out of Dallas as well. She wanted out there. So Marina Mabrey has now played for 1, 2, 3, 4 teams in 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. She's played for 4 teams in 5 years. And now she wants to make it a 5th team in 6. She's never happy. She's never happy. She's always miserable. She literally lives with bitter beer face. That's who she is. Her personality is not one that I would consider appealing. She seems to be always bothered. That's my feeling. She's a good player. She's a good role player. She averages 14 points a game. I mean, outside of her first 2 seasons, she's averaged between 13.3 and 15 points per game. This past year, she averaged 14.4 points per game. And you combine the fact that she actually did play better in Connecticut, averaged 14.9 over the 14.0 that she averaged in Chicago. So her shooting percentage skyrocketed from 38.1 to 46.7%. Her three-point shooting from 34.8 to 42.4. That's just in her move from Chicago to Connecticut. So when you look at improvements like that, I understand you're upset Alyssa Thomas wanted to leave. Alyssa Thomas, though, had been there for 11 years. DeWanna Bonner wanted to leave. DeWanna Bonner's girlfriend was Alyssa Thomas. I was surprised DeWanna Bonner didn't end up in Phoenix. Other people have been sent packing. Dejanay Carrington sent packing. Big deal. Is Dejanay Carrington that good? Does Dejanay Carrington's decision make you or impact you in any which way? I'm just curious. I don't know. Maybe they do. I don't think they should. She's not good enough to matter. The coach left. We all know why the coach left. Let's not lie to ourselves. We can sit here and say whatever we want. I don't know what the specifics were. I don't believe that. I don't believe for one split second that Connecticut didn't want Stephanie White back in Connecticut. I don't believe it for a split second that Connecticut did not want Stephanie White back in Connecticut. She left for personal and professional reasons. Let's think about that. She's from, where's she from? Let's remember, where is she from? Where did she coach before? She's from Indiana. She had an opportunity to go back to be the head coach of Indiana, who now has the best player in the WNBA, who has Caitlin Clark. Like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know why she wanted to leave. It wasn't that the Connecticut Sun didn't want Stephanie White back. It wasn't. But yet we're going to sit here and we're going to act like all these people wanted to go. Well, Stephanie White left because she wanted to go coach in Indiana. She didn't get fired. Dejanay Carrington was shipped off because Dejanay Carrington is really not that good. Maybe you get better with somebody else. Yeah, you lost Alyssa Thomas, but you also have to be real. You also have to be reasonable. How old is Alyssa Thomas? She's got to be in her 30s. She's 32. She's 32 years old. All right. DeWanna Bonner is 37. DeWanna Bonner's not getting any younger. So when you look at the team and you look at the outlook of this franchise with those two players specifically, they're on the back ends of their career. DeWanna Bonner's gone from the WNBA by the time, I'm guessing, at the latest 40. You know, at the latest 40, she's gone, right? So you have a team that made some deals, brought in some younger pieces. They brought back Tina Charles to the team. Tina Charles is a good player. Last I checked, Tina Charles was a 15-point per game scorer last year. She's not some trash can player. So when I hear certain things being said about Connecticut, yeah, do I think they're going to struggle next year? Yes, absolutely. I do. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But they now have a point guard in Lindsay Allen, Tina Charles. They brought over Natasha Cloud. They brought in Diamond DeShields. This isn't like they went from being. I tell you what, my prognosis of being the second worst team in the WNBA next year, it might actually change, because this roster is not that horrible now. It's not that horrible. There are some decent parts to this roster. And Marina Mabrey is a major part of that. And she's too dumb to recognize that her 14.9 points per game last year will probably be 20 points per game this year if she plays her cards right. She will change the trajectory of her career in terms of significance and meaning, i.e., going from being a role player to being the number one option, to being the star of the team, unless she just doesn't believe that she's that player. I've never heard a player say, I don't want to be the number one option. This isn't high school. This isn't college. This is professional sports. Have you ever heard a professional athlete say, I don't want to be the number one option? Have you ever heard a professional athlete say, I don't want to be the man? No, of course not. Of course not. Everybody wants to be the man. So, how in the world are you going to sit here after these other players have left and demand a trade? Now, demanding a way out for the third time in 3 years or 4 years? Sorry. No, we're not doing it. These franchises have to control their franchises. Who gives a shit how she feels? It's not their responsibility to care about how she feels. Like, what are we talking about? And her agent, Marcus Crenshaw, this guy, he is one hell of a piece of work. But let's talk about what Jen Rosati said. The organization decided it wasn't in our best interest to move her because of the value that we gave up to get her, but also that we place on her. Like, think about that. She's literally saying that we gave up a lot to get you. We're not going to give you away for trash can parts because that's what we would get for you. But they also value you, which means your role will increase and be different in 2025. The reasons that we have for not trading Marina are rooted in positivity. It's rooted in a desire to build around her. Have her here. Have her be the catalyst for what we do offensively, taking advantage of her versatility, knowing that the style that Coach Rashid Mizian plays with will suit her game, and knowing that we can put her in an individual situation to be really successful as this current CBA closes and a new one opens. Guess what, Marina? You got a 1-year deal. You're making $210,000. Suck it up, play ball, and increase your value. Like, understand what you will create, because you yourself are not a max level player by any means right now. But you know what you could do for your career in Connecticut? You can make yourself one. You can make it to when that CBA pops. Guess what? Whenever it does, because they're probably going to be locked out. But when it pops, guess what? You're going to command yourself a 3-year or a 4-year deal, whatever the new terms will be, and it'll be a max deal because you came off averaging 20, 21, 22 points a game. Win or lose, this is about bread. This is a money deal. And yet you're too slow to see it, and your stupid fucking agent doesn't know when to shut his mouth? Come on, man. Like, this is what she also said. I think there's probably a lot of pro athletes that are on teams that they don't necessarily prefer to be on, Rosati said. I don't think that this would be an isolated situation. I think Marina is as competitive as they come. It's one of the reasons that we wanted her here. It might be seen as counterproductive for us to give in to every single trade request, right? So I think sometimes you get put in a no-win situation. And I think we're trying to be as fair as we can to a lot of different constituents. Like, I don't understand this. I don't know why this has become such a thing where player says, I want out, and the ownership just bends over and takes it up the fucking ass and trades them for spare parts. I mean, realistically, I don't know why they traded Alyssa Thomas. I don't know why. You court her. You could have kept her in Connecticut for one more year. You chose not to. By all means, she's older than Marina Mabrey is. Marina Mabrey's 28. Thomas is 32. And by all means, Alyssa Thomas has been hurt all through freaking Unrivaled. Hell, so is Marina Mabrey. Remember, I told y'all. Marina Mabrey wasn't going to play one fucking second of Unrivaled. Told y'all. Y'all want to believe me. I told y'all she was never going to play. When they said what her injury was, I said she ain't never going to play one fucking second. Not a second will she play. Why? Because it's going to take 2 months to heal. The league is 2 months. It takes 2 months for the league. She'll never play. She collected a check to not play. Take the check. Take the bread. Like, what are we talking about? But we got to look at reality. We got to look at the reality of basketball and the team. They can't give everybody away who wants to be traded. I can't stand the attitude of the NBA that if guy's unhappy, trade him. Fuck you. You're under contract. You play. Are you going to damage your own worth? You're the one that's 30 fucking 5 years old, going on 36. You're the one who wants a 3-year deal to extend. You want to go play poorly on purpose? Well, you're just going to decrease your value to everybody, and you won't get that deal from anybody. And that's the situation here. So when this guy Marcus Crenshaw, this fucking buffoon, says, in the current age of women's empowerment and support of the players, I said this last night. I'm just flabbergasted how he would lead off this. I had someone say to me, say in a comment, he was being sarcastic. No, the fuck he wasn't. No, he wasn't. It wouldn't have even been printed if he was being sarcastic. Are you serious? If you think this was sarcasm, you're not paying attention to what's going on in the WNBA. These women think they can dictate to the franchises what's going to happen. The same shit happened with Satu Sabali, and the Dallas Wings made a catastrophically bad decision to trade her to Phoenix. They got shit for her. Stupid deal. Stupid fucking deal. But seriously now, look at this, like this is insane. The current age of women's empowerment. What is that going to do with anything? What does that have to do with business in basketball? Contracts, trades. It's got zero to do with anything. Why would anyone try to force someone to play on their team when they don't want to be there? What? What? Why? Because you're under contract, you moron. I can't believe this guy got an agent license. He sounds insane. He sounds like a buffoon. Heck, let's show you who this idiot. Like this guy might be the one agent who's worse than Caitlin Clark's. This is like 25 years old. Marcus Crenshaw. Wow. Look at this guy. This guy looks like he's 25 years old picking up girls off the basketball court, bro, in high school. This guy's young as hell. Maybe he's 30. Get the fuck out of here. Who is this dude? Coolest CEO. Sold Overtime women's basketball to Overtime. Sold 2 companies in 5 years. Founder and CEO of the famous sports agency, Sports Agent. He's got himself with a Richard Mille watch. Who the hell knows if it's even real? This is the guy. He walks around dressed up like a fucking Louis Vuitton poster. This is the coolest CEO right here. Right here. Louis Vuitton sweater. Louis Vuitton shoes. Why don't you just get a billboard for Louis Vuitton? Bro, you sound stupid. I don't care how much money you've made. You sound foolish. You sound foolish. Like, this shit's ridiculous. He's at Unrivaled, obviously. This guy he's young as shit. I don't know what. I don't know. This is odd. It looks like he represents a whole bunch of women's basketball players. I mean, who knows? Yeah, because right here in this picture, he's got Marina Mabrey. Look at here. These must be his clients. You got Marina Mabrey right here. Courtney Williams, who I know is his client. That's Brittany Sykes. I don't know who this one is. Beats the fuck out of me. That looks like, what's that girl's name? Is that Ray Burrell? That looks like Ray Burrell. Yeah. This is in Miami. This guy's probably been living in Miami since It's his unrivals. It's a lot of his clients are here, but he sounded stupid, man. This is the weakest shit I've ever heard in my life. I'm disgusted to hear someone say some stupid shit like this. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This is utterly absurd. Like, you're gonna sit here and make this type of statement. It's counterproductive in a ton of ways, and everyone we have spoken to is perplexed how they are handling Marina after trading away Hall of Fame caliber players. The coach parted ways, no free agents returned, and they are doing all they can to try and force Marina to stay when she clearly doesn't want to be there. It's interesting. Yes, you know what? If your player wasn't traded for 3 to get there, maybe they would dump her off. But they gave up a lot to get her. Like, you playing that card, that's a helpful card to play, bro. If you think that makes sense, like, you do you keep thinking that makes sense. I don't think it makes any sense at all. None whatsoever. I get it. You represent your client. Keep representing your client to the best of your ability. I will never fault you for that. But when you say stupid shit like that, I'm not a fan of stupid comments. Stupid comments bother me. Stupid comments absolutely fucking bother me. They just do. They just do. They just, because once you start making stupid comments, when you say something real, no one's listening. When you say something's real, no one's listening. It looks like he really went for the women's basketball area to make his mark, because I don't see any male clients on his shit. He played at Cal State Fullerton in college. Good for him, man. Good for him. But this statement is foolish. Look, I respect hustle. I respect the man's hustle and all that stuff. And congratulations on what he's doing in his life. He's obviously very, very successful entrepreneur based on what I'm looking at here. Good for him. Awesome. But you sitting here talking about how you talk, the people you've talked to are perplexed. Who have you talked to? Who the fuck have you talked to? They're perplexed that someone doesn't want to trade their best player that they have on their roster. They already traded their best 2. Well, they traded their best one. The other one left as a free agent. Mabrey's better than Carrington. Mabrey was their 3rd best player. They want to lose all 3? No. Why would they trade her? And for what? Like, because she's unhappy? Because she want the entitlement syndrome of the WNBA is hitting high levels. It's hitting high levels, man. It really is. But let me know your thoughts. I mean, she wanted to push her way at the 3rd. Who knows? She might be traded before the year starts. You don't know. There's always a possibility. Hell, if I was Connecticut, you know what I would do? I would sign Kennedy Carter, and then I would trade Marina Mabrey. Then I got a better player I can build around. That's what I would do. What do you think? What would you do? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe, follow, hit that bell. I appreciate y'all. Come on now.